Welcome back to another episode of Motogp Mac, and today we're going to talk about Johan Mir's debut on the Honda and how things went for him. So, Johan did 73 laps with a best time of 1 minute 30.9, which wasn't really bad. Now, saying that, he did spend majority of the day more than a second off where the pace was, and towards the end of the day he did set that time. Now that time is the bones of 7/10 of a second slower than he did on the Suzuki, and he did test quite a lot. When he first went out, he just went out on the standard bike that was being run last year with all the old aerodynamics and also the carbon swing arm. But as the day progressed, you could see that he was starting to use the newer parts of the Honda. What I found very interesting is that Mark was really interested in two things. A, having a look at Mir on the Honda, on track himself. So, a couple of times throughout the test, he was on track and in the same proximity as Mir when riding. But the other thing, Mark was really interested in hearing live Mir's feedback, not waiting for later on the debrief. As Mark didn't test much in the afternoon, he did spend quite a lot of time listening into Mir's feedback after he would come in from each session, and I suppose that's key. As I've mentioned this before, it's really important, the feedback that the new riders coming onto new bikes would give, especially if they're coming from a bike that would be strong in the area where the bike they're coming to is weak. So in this case, Honda, Suzuki was a very sweet handling bike. It turned, it gave them the good feel, and Honda doesn't necessarily give that. So putting the characteristics or giving the feedback is really, really valuable to Honda. Now, just like Rins and Alex Marquez, they weren't allowed to talk about what are the differences in the characteristics publicly between the Suzuki and the Honda, or the Honda and the Ducati, because they're still under contract, and I think it was just an agreement done between the teams to allow them to have a test, but again, no major publicity or after test debriefs publicly about how good the new bike is or not. So it's definitely interesting to see how Mir will get on next year. He was a good bit faster than Rins. Now, he did have more development parts than Rins, I will be fair in saying that, but it's definitely interesting to see that Mir was 7/10 of a second off, and Rins was like 1.2 seconds or so off where things would be. So, it's very interesting, I suppose, to see where they're going to come next year. What are Honda going to bring? This is another question that is out there. Honda are in trouble this year and next year. I do think, while a lot of people believe and hope that Honda will improve, they can't have another 2022 years. Anything will be better than what they've gone through and suffered this year. So definitely love to know your thoughts, though. What are your expectations for Mir in the Repsol team in 2023? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.